Hi friends, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, we have quite a few new blushes to try out, as well as the new Fenty Beauty Gloss Balm Lip Oils. But we have 3 new blush formulas to try out. Y'all know I live for blush, so this is gonna be a good one. Grab a snack, grab something to drink, and let's get into the video. Let's start off with the Lawless Cream Blush. I'm sure you all are probably tired of blush right now, but me, I can never get tired of blush. I live for a good blush. This is the Pinch Me Soft Blur Cream Blush. So the shade that I picked up is Cherry Pie. Lawless is saying this is a weightless, creamy, velvet texture, talc-free blush that delivers buildable color to cheeks and lips with a cloud-like texture and satin powder finish. So to me, this is sounding like a cream to powder blush, which I love me a nice cream to powder blush. So I'm just going to take some on a brush. I don't know if this is the right brush for this. It's probably too dense. So we're going to take this one and we're going to see. Okay, yeah, this one is a lot better. Definitely feel like it has a glow to it, but I'm trying to see that velvet texture it's talking about. Looks a lot shinier than I thought. So I wonder if I keep blending. Now I feel like that's interesting. That is very interesting because I'm over here thinking it's gonna dry down to like a powder, but it still has like that shine to it. So in the pan, it feels very, very creamy. I would not say that this is a blush that sets down to a powder. I do not get cream to powder at all. I do get that it kind of feels kind of velvety when I do a swatch on the back of my hand. Let's see if I can kind of like build this up. I'm gonna take some on my finger and see if that's gonna do anything, and just build it up with a second layer, because they did say that this is a buildable blush, but I still feel like it's kind of subtle. The shade that I picked up was the most intense in the line, but I still feel like this is a pretty subtle blush shade. The blush kind of feels like a mousse textured kind of blush, but just a little bit thinner, which sounds weird, but that's kind of like the vibe that I'm getting. Now let's get into the Haus Labs blush. Now this I have been seeing all over TikTok. And initially I had like 3 shades that I wanted to pick up. I ended up just going with one shade. I went with the shade that has a matching powder shade in the line. I wanted you guys to still be able to get that color. Like I really wanted to get the acai sky shade, but you can't even get that powder anymore. Now this blush retails for $34. This is a serum based high pigment blush with more than 70% skincare that hydrates and makes the skin look plumper with an all day long wearing glassy balm finish. So this is the glassy version of watermelon, and here is the powder version. So it is definitely not the same in color, but I still feel like this will somewhat match if you were to go in with this first and then this on top. But yeah, not the exact same. I kind of was hoping they would match, but that's okay. We'll still try it. So I'm just gonna take what's on the back of my hand and kind of work with this that I have here, and then apply it to the face. I might need to put a little more here because I don't know if my brush is dense enough, but we'll see. So we're gonna just see how this looks. I'm actually very nervous about this particular blush because it is supposed to give like a glassy, balm-like kind of finish, and I'm over here like, By the way, my face is not set with any powder or anything. Even just working off the back of my hand, this color is very intense, but it kind of gives like a very oily, wet kind of look. Honestly, almost looks like the Lawless. Like, do you see what I mean? Comparing the Lawless with the Haus Labs, they both have that glow, and like I was expecting this to dry down to more of like a soft matte finish, and it's not. It has that glow to it. I look so crazy, and like my cheeks low-key look kind of oily right now, but we're just trusting the process. This is very, very glowy. I like the packaging of the Haus Labs though. It's really, really cool. And I love that you can see the color that you're picking up. So I love that. I'm intrigued to see how this is going to set down. We're gonna start off with the Lawless side and see how this is going to set with the powder. Ooh, that sets beautifully. Wow, that's really nice. Ooh, that's a really pretty. Okay, so it sets beautifully with the powder. It's kind of subtle. It's not really peeking through much, but that is okay. I feel like I would still go over this with a powder blush. That's what I like to do. I like to go in with cream blushes, set it with the powder, and then set it with a loose powder like this, and then go on top with a corresponding blush. Let's see how the Haus Lab side is gonna set, because this is what I'm most intrigued for. So I'm just gonna lightly press this with a powder. And I do want to see if that glow is still going to come through. Does it look like I put anything on here? It definitely set down with the powder, and I still kind of see that glow peeking through. I set it very lightly. I do kind of want to see how this Haus Labs blush is going to work on top of powder, because they did say that you can use this on top of powder. So I am going to go in on top very lightly because I'm kind of nervous. Ooh, wow. See, I don't know if I'm the biggest fan of this particular finish, because I feel like it's glowy, but it almost kind of looks oily on the skin. You know what I mean? Like, it kind of looks like a very oily, dewy kind of blush. And I don't really know, like, if I was to put this on top of powder, if I would leave the finish like this. I don't think that I would. So I'm gonna just kind of set over this again. It looks like it did fine on top of powder. Let's see how the Lawless blush is on top of powder, since they're claiming it to be like a powdery kind of finish. Let's just see what it's gonna give on top of powder. Ooh, yeah, it gives absolutely nothing. Okay, right off the bat, no on top of powder for the Lawless. That's a no-no, because it is so splotchy. Like, I cannot blend this out at all. Like, I don't know if you guys can tell, but it's literally just like sitting on top of my face. So the Lawless definitely does not work very well on top of powder, but I just feel like this formula is just not... I'm not a fan of this formula from Lawless. I'm really not. I like the color of this blush, but I'm not a fan of the formula. Now, as far as the Haus Labs blush, the finish of this blush is not my favorite. It says Glassy Watermelon, so it's supposed to give you a glassy-like finish. It definitely does that, okay? If that's your jam, you're really gonna like this. It has a lot of pigment. I'm gonna use the Haus Labs powder blush on top, just so we can kind of see what the vibes are. Is it just me, or is the Haus Labs blush not a very even application? Because I keep looking at my mirror and I'm like, am I like missing blush here? Like, I just feel like it's not even. I don't know, maybe it's just my eyes. You guys feel like it looks patchy? Let me know. If it doesn't, it could just be me in my mirror and my lighting. I'm gonna take this off and we're gonna try this Fenty blush. All right, so we have the new Bronze Over collection from Fenty. So this right here is the Velour Blushlighter. I picked up the shade Baked Peach. They snapped on this packaging. They truly snapped on this. Do you see this? Oh, let's see what this is giving. So it's a Blushlighter, so I'm expecting it to not be more blushy. I feel like this is more like blush topper. Wow, it's actually kind of glittery. Interesting. I believe I got the deepest shade that they came out with. And it looks... Is this the deepest shade? I thought it was. It doesn't look that deep on my cheeks. I don't want to put too much on because it is a highlighter, so it's going to emphasize texture. I'm going to actually take some of my Makeup Forever Limitless Berry blush and see. I feel like this blush would pair really well with the Fenty. So I'm just going to pop this on. It's one of my favorite blushes. And let's go on top with the Fenty blush as like a blush topper. Does add a little bit of glow to the cheek. So this is the Fenty Blushlighter with no blush underneath on its own. But then here it is on top of a blush. I was so excited for these blush releases, and I just feel like they're not giving what I thought they were gonna give. I know some people are really gonna love this Blushlighter from Fenty, but I am just not, I'm not like loving it. It's not giving what I thought it was going to give. I wish it had more of like a base color to it, because it just looks more like glitter particles here. And it's not it's not really giving blush, even though I know it's a topper, but even as a topper, it's not really toppering, if that makes sense. But I am gonna go ahead and even out my cheeks. So I'm gonna go in with my Limitless Berry on this side and kind of just mix it all together. I have been hoping that this is everything that I've been wishing for. This is gonna be a game changer because the Fenty Gloss Balm is one of my favorite glosses on the market. The OG, the OG. So this is the Gloss Balm Oil. I picked up 2 shades. I picked up Superfine Sugar and Frosted Buns. This one is Superfine Sugar. Gorge. This is the applicator. It's flat and that's actually really cool. Kind of smells like vanilla. Ooh. That sparkle. Oh yeah. I like this paddle too. It's perfect and it's flat. And you can be precise. That's gorgeous. It has like a subtle vanilla kind of scent to it. Definitely not as thick as her Fenty Skin Lip Oils, but it's not as thin as, say, the Juvia's Place or the Rem Beauty lip oils. It's giving the shine of the gloss, so this is beautiful. It's almost like a clear gloss with like a gold reflect to it, but it is so beautiful when the light hits it. Now let's try Frosted Buns. So there are 3 shades in this collection, but I ended up just getting 2. The deepest shade was almost like a coppery shade. This one is Frosted Buns and it kind of looks like Fenty Glow. That's what this one kind of reminds me of. It almost looks kind of similar, but I do see that this one has a different base to it. It's a little bit deeper. So I'll just swatch this one. I really like this formula. I really hope we see more shades of these. It sucks that these are limited edition because Fenty. I like these lip oils. Oh yeah, you can definitely see the difference between the two. Definitely more clear with like a gold reflect. Really like this lip oil formula and I love how when the light hits it, it just sparkles. Let's get into my initial first impressions thoughts on trying these new blushes. Starting off with the Lawless blush, I was expecting something more from the description. I feel like this does not play well over powder, but I just feel like this just isn't really that buildable of a blush. I do feel like once you do kind of build it up, it kind of starts to gather in certain spots, and I just feel like this is definitely one that you really could honestly skip out on because it's really not anything special. It almost feels like it wants to be a moussey blush, but it's not. It kind of reminds me of the Morphe blushes, except the Morphe blushes you were able to put on top of powder and they were a little bit thicker and I feel like they were easier to kind of maneuver and use. So I just was a little bit disappointed in this blush. I really wanted to love it, but it really just didn't stand out to me. Haus Labs blush, it says what it's gonna be. You know, what you see is what you get. It is a glassy blush that almost looks like glass on the skin. If that is not your vibe, I would definitely skip out on this blush. I really would not run out to get this. I don't really feel like you're honestly missing out on anything. I feel like there are other blushes on the market that are pretty comparable to this one. Not only that, I feel like if you really had to choose a Haus Labs blush, I would recommend the powder all day, every day. This is the one I would say is truly worth the money. I feel like they're pretty similar in price. I want to say they're both $30 blushes. So yeah, I would say go for the powder blush. It's an easy formula. It's super foolproof. You can build it up. You can sheer it out. There's beautiful shades. It's a solid powder blush, but it's also a creamy powder blush. And I just feel like coming from this blush, this one is kind of a letdown for me, honestly. I kept looking in the mirror and in the monitor and I was like, is it like, am I missing blush in certain areas? My eyes were deceiving me because it was such a glassy formula. It was so reflective, so I really couldn't tell. This one is the winner blush out of the 2 that Haus Labs offers. I would say go with the powder all day, every day. Now, the Fenty blush, I really wanted to love this. I will say the packaging is stunning. This is by far my favorite packaging Fenty has ever done. They have knocked the packaging out of the park. This is gorgeous. But The baked blush in the inside on my skin tone cannot be used as a blush on its own. There are 3 different shades. I believe I picked up the deepest one. On its own, I was seeing more glitter than anything. It was super glittery, and I get it. It's a blush topper. I understand. But it's super, super subtle. So I was like, you know what? Let's try it on top of my favorite powder blush that I think would go very well with this. And you guys let me know. Do you guys like this sheen? It's actually really subtle. We're talking out of the 3, this one I feel like I would reach for more and get my use out more, because I could just easily top this on top of my, my Makeup Forever powder, because this combo is perfect together. I just wish that this blush had a little bit more of a base color to it to warrant it being a blush lighter. And I also even feel like the glow on the lighter part is not as intense as I was hoping for. But for some of you, that might be perfection. You might want something that's a lot more subtle. And if you want something subtle, I do think this Fenty Blushlighter is going to be that product for you. Now, the standout for me 100% is these Gloss Balm oils. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Fenty's lip products are where they shine. They shine in the lip category 1000%. I ended up going in with Frosted Buns on my lips today, and it is gorgeous. Love how comfortable this is, and I love the shine that it gives on the lips. The feel of an oil, but the shine of a gloss, and I love that. I really, really hope that we see more of these Gloss Balm oils because they are phenomenal. That is it for today's video. Definitely let me know what you guys think down below, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.